Hello, Facebook friends and family, and new viewers, and YouTube subscribers as well. How you doing on this beautiful Sunday? I'm going to finish reading chapter 3 from Matthew McConaughey's Green Light. If you're tuning in, say hi. My name is Melissa Osborn, coming from Marathon, New York, born and raised. Hi, Jody. How you doing, beautiful? Hey, Donovan. Yes. And let me know where you're tuning in from. If you would like to join me in my my live stream, you're more than welcome. I put the link above, so you're more than welcome. And if you want to see first, push the 3 dots so you can see me first, because I can invite you in on the broadcast as well. Hello, Agana Collins. Nice to see you. Nashville, Tennessee. Looking good, Steph. Thank you, Jody Walsh Raider. If you don't know Jody Walsh Raider, she is my lashes girl. And Donovan Huntman, he is also in lead generation and a coach as well. But I hope you guys are having a lovely day. And I'm actually listening to beats on YouTube while I'm reading. So, okay. I'm still reading Dirt Roads and Autobahns, page 97 from Green Lights. I didn't have a short film or a piece of art to audition for film school, but I had a 32 or 3.82 GPA. Not only did it get me into film school, it got me into the honors program. But now I was pursuing a career path where, unlike law, my GPA did not matter. I knew Hollywood and artists didn't care if I made A's or F's. They needed to see something worthy of their attention. I needed to make something, a film, a performance. I needed a job. I signed with a local Donna Adams talent agency and started interning at an ad agency 4 days a week between classes. I wore a pager on my hip and would step out of class without hesitation to drive to San Antonio or Dallas to audition for a music video or a beer ad. I got a bunch of no thank yous. The first gig I landed was as a hand model. Donna Adams had told me upon signing that I had good-looking hands, and if I quit biting my nails, I might have a future in the hand modeling business. She was correct. I never bit my nails since. Good looks don't cook the dinner, but they'll get you a seat at the table. And I was determined to take advantage of any seat I could get. I directed short films in black and white on 16 millimeter Bolex cameras. I edited. I assistant director other classmates' films. I directed photography. I wrote and performed. I missed a lot of classes driving to San Antonio and Dallas. One day, the dean called me into his office. Matthew, attendance is mandatory in our class, especially the honors program. You cannot keep missing class or leaving in the middle of class, as you have been. If you continue to do so, I will have to fail you. Dean, I said, looking him directly in the eyes, you and I both know that a degree in film production doesn't mean squat to studio heads in Hollywood and New York City. It means nothing to be the people or to the people that make movies. They want to see a product, a film, a performance, something. The only reason I'm skipping class is to go out into the world and try and make something that those people will want to purchase. I'm chasing things outside of the classroom that the classroom is teaching me to chase. Then I had an ideal, and I blurted it out. If I promise to make it every exam day in class, will you just give me C's across the board? He didn't answer. Nonetheless, I stuck to my proposal. I kept skipping classes to chase my pager, and I made sure I showed up as prepared as possible on exam days. At the end of the semester, I received a C in every class on my college transcript, but I learned a lot more than when I was making A's. Green light. I'll take a little common sense with that knowledge. I was an outcast in class anyway, the only frat guy in film school, boots pressed, buttoned down, tucked in, tan, affable, non-heroic. Most everyone else wore black. They were pale, goth, and huddled in their private corners. One of our professors made us go see movies each week and come back on Monday and talk about them with the class. I would always go to the Metroplex and see the blockbuster. Then come in Monday and say, "Hey, I saw Die Hard this weekend." And that's shit, man. That's shit. It sucks, my classmates would say before I could finish my sentence. They had all gone and seen the Einstein revival. I began to doubt myself. That is what you have to do to be an artist, McConaughey. You have to see the art films at the art house, not the blockbusters at the Metroplex. You aren't independent enough. You need to be more eccentric, less friendly. I started untucking my shirt, but I still went to see the blockbusters. The next Monday, I got in front of the class to talk about what I'd seen, and again, the rest of the students started murmuring, "That's big studio shit, man, corporate American sellouts." This time I said, "Wait a minute. Tell me why it's shit, why it sucks, what you didn't like about it." They all got quiet. Heads started looking to each other. Finally, one of them said, "Well, we didn't actually see it. We just know it's shit." "Fuck you all," I said. "Fuck you all for saying something is shit just because it's popular." After that day, I was comfortable being both in the fraternity and a film student. I tucked my shirt back in. Fascinated with the differences between people and cultures, I've always enjoyed looking for finding the common denominator of values that are the foundation beneath our distinction. When my colleague buddies and I would hit 6th Street for a night out, they'd go to the popular bars littered with sorority girl possibilities, and I'd go to Catfish Station, an all-black, sweaty bar that sold catfish, beer, and blues. It was standing room only when Kyle Turner was on his saxophone or the all-blind band Blue Mist were on the stage. I'd find my spot stage left, by the beer cooler. I'd lean against it, serve myself, and let the cool air keep my perspiration from dripping. Laren, manager of the joint, Tammy was the black and beautiful as midnight rock star waitress who ran the floor and had every single dude in the joint thinking they had a chance. Just so they tipped more. None of them did have a chance. That is me included. But we tipped a little extra anyway. One night around closing time, while paying Laren for the 6 bottles of beer I drank, I told him I wanted a job waiting tables. The hand modeling gigs were sparse, and I needed some extra spending money. And besides, I liked the blues. Lauren laughed. I was the only white person, male or female, who was ever in the place. "I'm serious. I need the cash, and I like the music in here," I said. He laughed again. Then I stared at me a minute. "All right, you crazy motherfucker," he said, pulling out a pen and writing on a receipt. "Go to the address Tuesday morning, at 9, and ask for Homer. He's the owner. I'll let him know you're coming." I showed up at the appointment time. The place was also on 6th Street, but in a much bigger open floor club. Vince's at Catfish Station was good, and the joint would soon be moving up to a larger venue, this one. In the middle of the room stood a black man, well over 340 pounds, wearing all-white janitor's uniform and dripping sweat. On the concrete floor, he was mopping. Another black man was standing at the bar, back to the entrance, doing paperwork. "Homer?" I asked aloud. The man at the bar didn't move. The other guy kept mopping. "Homer Hill," I said a bit louder. The man at the bar turned his head over his right shoulder, like he'd been interrupted. "Yeah, that's me." "I'm Matthew." Lauren told me to come by here and see you. I want to be a waiter at Catfish Station. Over his shoulder, he said, "Oh, yeah, that's right. Grab a mop and go with Carl to clean the men's room." Carl turned with his mop and began rolling his water bucket back toward the bathroom. Never turning back, he pointed at another mop and bucket against the back wall. Now I'm going to read this one section. Hi, Angeline. Hi, Martin. Hi, hon. How you doing, sweetheart? This part is tribes. It says, before I go further, we want lovers, friends, recruiters, soldiers, and affiliation that support who we are. People, individuals, believe in themselves, want to survive, and on a Darwinistic level at least, want to have more of ourselves. Initially, this is a visual choice. The where, what, when, and who to our why. Upon closer inspection, which is the upfall of the political correction or correct culture of today, we learn to measure people on the competence of their values that we most value. When we do this, the politics of gender, race, and slanderous slang take a backseat to the importance of the values we share. The more we travel, the more we realize how similar our human needs are. We want to be loved, have a family, community, have something to look forward to. These basic needs are present in all systemic and cultural civilization. I have seen many tribes in the desert of northern Africa who, with 9 children and no electricity, had more joy, love, honor, and laughter than the majority of the most material rich people I've ever met. We have the choice to love, befriend, regroup, call to arms, associate, and support who we believe in, and more importantly, who we believe in us. I think that's what we all want to believe in and be believed in. We all must earn belief in ourselves first, then for each other. Earn it with you, then earn it with me, then we earn it for we. Travel and humanity have been my greatest educators. They have helped me understand the common denominator of mankind values. Engage with yourself, then engage with the world. Values, travel, and sometimes we get a stamp in our passport just by crossing the street. I love that part. It just spoke to me when I read it. Not what I was expected. I smiled. Homer did not. So I stepped to it, went to the men's room, and started mopping the floors like I was trying to take Carl's job. 10 to 15 minutes passed. Head down, cleaning a stall. I heard, "Man, put the mop down." I turned, and there was Homer. "You really want a job waiting tables?" "Yeah, I do," I said. Homer shook his head a bit and let out a breathy giggle. "All right, show up at the station Thursday night at 6 p.m. You can shadow Tammy and learn the ropes." On Thursday night, I showed up at Catfish Station at 5:45. I knew Tammy from the many nights I'd been a customer, but now I was there to learn from her, and she was not too happy about it. Tammy was queen bee. She ran the entire floor, and I was now trespassing on her territory and her tips. But for the next 3 nights, Tammy initiated me where to clock in for work, how to run the register, how to place orders with the cooks, what to tip them at the end of the night, which tables would soon be mine, and which high tipping customers I best not even look at. Wow. The next Thursday night, I started waiting tables for real. Game on. The clientele was 90% black men, 10% black women. With those black men, 80% of those black men were single, and as much as they liked the blues, they came to the station for Tammy, and they weren't delighted to be waited on by a young man, white man, and their tips told me as much. At the end of the night, I cleared $32. Tammy made $98. I waited tables at Catfish Station Thursday through Saturday. For the next 2 years, many of those black men became my friends and even came to choose my section. Many, not most, Tammy and I became pretty close, but like every one other straight man in the station, she never let me get so close as a peek on the cheek, or a peck on the cheek. I never stopped trying. I never beat her in tips either. Homer and I maintained a friendship through the years. We went to Longhorn game together last season. Green light. We are not here to tolerate our differences. We are here to accept them. We are not here to celebrate our sameness. We are here to salute our distinctions. We are not born into equal circumstances or with equal abilities, but we should have equal opportunity as individuals. We unite in our values, celebrate that. So true. I had a little cash in my pocket for my job at Catfish Station, but not so much that I didn't appreciate a free drink. I picked my girlfriend up, Tanya, and took her to the bar at the top of the Hyatt where the classmate, Sam, was bartending. Hence, the free drinks, 2 vodka and tonics, Sam. He brought them over and said, "There's a guy at the end of the bar who's in town producing a movie. He's been coming in here nightly. Let me let me introduce you to him. Let me introduce you to him." This is when I met the one and only Don Phillips. I welcomed him to Austin. We were both golfers and had played some of the same courses. He drank vodka and tonics as well, many of them. A few hours later, as Don stood atop a chair in the midst of delivering one of his legendary loud charades of a story, the management, to no avail, tried to calm him down. When it was obvious Dan wanted nothing to do with toning anything down, they tried to kick him out of the bar, matching him drink for drink. I had no interest in Don calming down either. So we were unpeacefully escorted out of the Hyatt, now past 2 in the morning, as he rode with me in a cab to drop me off at my apartment. I pulled out a joint and we smoked it. we Are you ever done any acting, Matthew? He asked. I told him, I've been in a Miller Lite commercial for about a second and I have done a music video for Trisha Yearwood. Well, there's a small part in this movie I'm casting. You might be right for it. Come to this address tomorrow morning at 9:30 and pick up the script. I'll have the 3 scenes marked. The cabbie dropped me off at the apartment, and Don and I said our goodnights. The next morning at 9:30, really the same morning, just 6 hours later, I arrived at the location Don had given me, and there was a script with my name on it and a handwritten note from Don that read, "Here's the script. The character's name is Wooderson. I'll get you in for an audition in 2 weeks." I need to get a drink. And I'm drinking decaf. Over the years, I've come to call the kind of line in a script that can send me flying a launchpad line. This script was for Dazed and Confused. I love that movie. The line that sent me into flight was, "That's what I love about these high school girls. Man, I get older and they stay the same age." Wooderson was 22 years old, but still hanging out around the high school. That line opened up an entire world into who he was, an encyclopedia into his psyche and spirit. I thought about my brother, Pat, when he was a senior and I was 11. He was my big brother, my hero. One day, Pat, Z28, was in the shop, so Mom and I were picking him up from high school. We were slowly pulling through campus in our 77 wood-paneled station wagon. Mom driving, me peering out to the window in the back seat. Pat was not where we had planned to meet him. "Where is he?" asked Mom, turning my head to look left and right, and then out the back window. I saw him about 100 yards behind us, leaning against the brick wall in the shade of the school's smoking section. One knee bent, boot sole against the side of the building, pulling on a marble cooler than James Dean and 2 feet taller. There! I started to shriek, then caught my tongue because I realized he'd get in trouble for smoking. What's that? Mom asked. Nothing, Mom. Nothing. That image of my big brother leaning against the wall, casually smoking that cigarette in his low elbowed, loose wristed, lazy fingered way through my romantic 11-year-old little brother eyes was the epitome 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 of cool. He was literally 10 feet tall. It left an engraved impression in my heart and mind. And 11 years later, Wooderson was born from that impression. Cool. Cool is a natural law. It was cool for that time. Then it is cool for all time. I had fad is just a branch of cool's trunk, a fashionable fling whose 15 minutes can never abide, no matter how long she trends to try. Cool stands the test of time because cool never tries. Cool just is. I had 10 days to prepare for the audition, and I knew my man. But being that this was technically a job interview, I made sure to shave and tuck in my best long sleeve button down. When I got there and met the director, Richard Linklater, he soon said, "You are not really this guy, are you?" "No," I said, "but I know who he is." Then I leaned back, lowered my eyelids, held my cigarette between my peace sign, and gave him my Wooderson. I got the job. He told me not to shave. Production was already in full swing. Soon I got called to set to do a makeup and wardrobe test, meaning I would go through makeup and hair in the trailer that was already on set for the working actors. Then I would get into my selected wardrobe. Then Rick would come by during a break from shooting to approve or make comments on my overall look. They were shooting at the top notch Hamburger Drive Inn that night. I remember stepping out to the makeup trailer in full wardrobe onto the sidewalk walk off Burnett Road in North Austin, about 30 yards from set. Rick came over. On approach, he began to smile widely as he took me in. He spread his arms in his open palmed way as he looked me up and down. Peach pants, the nudge t-shirt, the comb over, the stash. Is that a Black Panther tattoo on your forearm? Yeah, man. What do you think? I dig it. This is great. This is Wooderson. Now remember, I wasn't there to act that night. Wooderson wasn't in any of the scenes that were being shot. I was only there for Rick to approve my hair, makeup, and wardrobe. That's when Rick got an idea. And when we began to do something that to this day we still do, which is play a game of verbal ping pong. I know Wooderson has probably been with a typical hot high school chicks, he said. Cheerleaders, majority girls like that, but you think he'd have any interest in the redhead intellectual? Sure, man, Wooderson. Like all kind of chicks. Yeah, right. Yeah, no. Marison Ribisi is playing Cynthia, the redhead intellectual girl, and she's over here at the drive-in with her nerdy friends in the back seat. You think Wooderson might pull up and try and pick her up? Give me 30 minutes. I took a walk with myself. Who's my man? I asked myself. What's going on tonight in this scene? It's their last day of school. Everyone's looking for the party. I know some Spanish. Next thing I know, no, I'm in my car. Well, Wooderson's car, on seat, micked up. So on action, just pulled up next to her car, like Wooderson would, and try and pick her up. Rick instructed, cool, got it. Now there were no lines written, and this was my first time on a film set. I had never done this before. Anxious, I started going back over in my head who my man is. Who's my man? Who's Wooderson? What do I love? I love my car. Well, I'm in my 70s Chevrolet. That's one. I love getting high. Well, Slater's riding shotgun and he's always got a doobie rolled up. That's two. I love rock and roll. Well, I got Nugent's string hold in the A track. That's three. That's when I heard action. I looked up across the parking lot at Cynthia and red-headed intellectual and said to myself, and I love chicks. As I put the car in drive and slowly pulled out, I thought to myself, well, I've got 3 out of 4 and I'm headed to get the fourth. Then said aloud, all right, all right, all right. Those 3 words, those 3 affirmations of what I, Wooderson, did have were the first 3 words I ever said on film. A film that my character had only 3 script scenes in. A film that I ended up working on for 3 weeks. Now, 28 years later, those words follow me everywhere. People say them, people steal them, people wear them on their hats, t-shirts, people have them tattooed on their arms and inner thighs, and I love it. It's an honor because those 3 words are the very first words I said on the very first night of a job. I had that thought, might be nothing but a hobby, but turned into a career. Green light. 1 in a row. Any success takes 1 in a row. Do one thing well, then another. Once that, then once more. Over and over until the end. Then it's 1 in a row again. I want to thank you guys. I do not want to keep you too long, and I've literally read quite a bit already, and I know it's been 27 minutes. So I thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Hun. I love you, Martin. I love you, Mika Coleman. Love you, Maxwell. Love everybody. Donovan, I appreciate you all. And join me again when I read. I will inform you. I'll put it in my story. So please put see first and follow me and join me. If you want to join me in on a reading, you can just reach out and I'd be gladly to walk you through the process. And it is fun and it's enjoyable. Reading something that gives you kind of like a different insight on somebody else's life. And it helps with your vocabulary. And get you out of your comfort zone too, as well. I love you all. Have a good evening, good night, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in. And welcome new viewers as well. And if you are on my YouTube channel, please subscribe. And I will see you on the next live. Toodaloo.